So that's me watch the Star Beast. Just in case you couldn't hear me there, that's me watch the Star Beast. My quick review before I watch the Giggle, the 14th Doctor's regeneration story. The Star Beast. It was alright. I mean, folk were going on and on about how the whole pronoun pish was like shoved in their face all the time. I was like that too before I watched it, but it wasn't shoved in the face a lot. It was only mentioned the pronoun pish was only mentioned 3 or 4 times in Star Beast. Obviously once when they said to Rose, Donna's daughter, alright Jason, give us a kiss. Donna's daughter also saying, Doctor, you is a male presenting Time Lord. And this is my quick in between review of the second special, Wild Blue Yonder. Now obviously I got to watch the Wild Blue Yonder on Disney Plus, so I've got a more kind of like better idea of what the story was about. So basically Wild Blue Yonder reminded me of put you up here. Wild Blue Yonder reminded me of Rick and Morty. It was like a Rick and Morty episode. The reason I say that is because it was wacky and weird how they were in a, like a... You know how when Rick Sanchez loses his portal gun and there's like no way out of the situation? It was kind of like that with the Doctor, but with the sonic screwdriver. Donna, I think she was so excited that she had a cup of coffee, that the TARDIS can now make a cup of coffee, that she accidentally spilt it on the TARDIS console. But the way that Catherine Tate did it was like it was deliberate, like a stage direction. It's like, whew, I've done it again. It looked more deliberate than it was an accident, but let's just gloss over that. So they got to this ship at the end of creation, at the end of the universe, and it was a very, very long haul. And because the TARDIS was repairing itself and it took the sonic screwdriver with it, they were stuck there. So it's a huge long ship, like a long like platform they had to walk over. It took them half the episode to find a wee golf cart, a hovering golf cart to go onto. They used that to get all the way to the end of to the front of the ship. So they got there. The Doctor realises that the escape hatch door thing was open 3 years ago, and then closed, and nothing else. Turns out that the captain of the ship. Turns out the captain of the ship did it to get away from the villains that are on the ship. Now the monster of the week is something called the Not Things. They are a alien thing or parasite or whatever that copies their victims, their prey. So basically it was like evil versions of the Doctor and Donna. It was a battle of wits, because they had to kind of outwit their evil counterparts, but because the Doctor couldn't stop talking and couldn't stop thinking, the evil version of the Doctor, Not Thing, was able to kind of like get there before the Doctor, figure it out before the Doctor, and it all comes to a head where they run away from them, and the evil Doctor goes down on his four legs and kind of like starts to run away. And because of that, the TARDIS comes back, because the TARDIS has a system called Hazard Detection Relocation System. HADS. HADDS. I think that's. Anyway, watch the episode and you'll understand what I mean. But it was the TARDIS came back because they were no longer in danger, and the Doctor didn't realise that the version of Donna that got on the TARDIS wasn't Donna, and he's like, "Your arms are too long," and that was like the hint that it wasn't the real Donna. And the real Donna was still outside the TARDIS with the explosion, because the wee robot had been walking ever so slowly down the pathway, and it's like, I got to the thing and he pressed the button, and Donna was like, "Oh, this is where I die," because you were slowly seeing the explosion come from the bottom of the ship. Doctor turns a fast one and presses the button to raise the walkway near the door of the TARDIS, the front door of the TARDIS. The door opens and the evil imposter Donna falls out. The real Donna gets in, and they're so shook that all they can do is sit on the floor of the TARDIS console room and cuddle each other. Now, probably a lot of you didn't think that Wild Blue Yonder was scary. The subject of doppelgangers is really frightening. Right, so this is my review of the final special, the Doctor Who 60th special, that I watched on Disney Plus. I'm saying that so the BBC don't have the little ninjas listening in and looking at me from outside the house. Because we all know, if they can do stuff like they did in the 70s, which was very bad, they can do this. Look at you from the street outside your front window. I wouldn't put it past them. Anyway, this was quite cool. Neil Patrick Harris was fantastic as the toy maker. They explained how the toy maker looks different. Well, they didn't explain it, they just showed it on screen. The Doctor said something about, like, from what I can gather, the toy maker put his consciousness into the version of the toy maker we see in the Giggle. Now, the Giggle was about, I can't really describe it, you'll need to watch it yourself. Takeaways from the episode, it was kind of nice that the bi-generation thing has come into fruition, because as you can see here, 14th Doctor David Tennant on the left, the 15th Ncuti Gatwa on the right. So what happened during this regeneration, spoilers, was the toy maker shoots the Doctor right through the centre with a big laser. I know, cliche. The Doctor starts to regenerate, and he's Mel and Donna are there with him, and the toy maker like, "Oh, the handmaidens, the handmaidens." So obviously they're there to keep the Doctor kind of like in a sane state of mind. That, from what I'm watching when I seen this, that's what they were there for. And obviously the Doctor was kind of like upset that he was going to change again, and Mel's like, "No, you're becoming another person, and you'll be fantastic." That was quite nice that they were both there for him. So then obviously they did this thing, they stopped regenerating, and he's like, "Donna, Mel, we pull from that side and you pull from the right side, you pull from the left side." I'm like, "What?" And then they did it, and then it split, it morphed into two people and then split apart. And Ncuti's Doctor was like, "This is bi-generation, it's a myth, it's never happened before." So basically it's new stuff. This here on the screen was better explained than the whole plot line for The Timeless Child, because The Timeless Child didn't make a bit of sense. Chris Chibnall tried to explain it the best he could. I still couldn't understand it. If Chris Chibnall had went with a story like this, I knew he would have made a mess of it, because Russell T Davies perfectly explained this whole concept right down to the T. I felt like he was explaining it directly to me, to a person like me, so I could understand. That's what we need. We need showrunners that explain stuff perfectly, so even Bob's your uncle can understand it. The bystander on the street down the road can understand it. The cute wee thing they did in the TARDIS is like, well, the 14 was kind of confused in that, and I don't know what they said and all that, and it was something along the lines of like, Donna's like, no, 15 you're older because you came after 14. And he's like, yeah, I love you, kid, but get out. Like, that's quite showing a bit of his character before we see what he can do at Christmas. Yes, the Christmas specials are back. No more of these New Year specials, because New Year's Day, I feel, partially killed Doctor Who, because who wants to sit and watch Doctor Who on New Year's Day when you're all probably drunk and sleeping? But yeah, I like what they did with this episode. They gave the 10th Doctor, 14th Doctor a happy ending. They gave him a family, which is nice. And if you watch the episode, you'll see the Master right at the very end. If you blink, you'll miss it, because when the Celestial Toymaker disappears, his golden tooth falls out. Now, what the golden tooth is, was he said he had played a game with the Master, and the Toymaker won against the Master, and he took the Master and put him in a golden tooth. So what happens? We see the hand of someone picking up the golden tooth, in a scene that if you blink you'll miss it. So the Master's back, but he's in a golden tooth. It's been picked up by someone with red nail polish. Will that be addressed? Probably will, but we don't know when. So my final thoughts are, you don't have to watch Doctor Who on the BBC. If you have to, make sure that you only pay for the Doctor Who, okay? And then cancel your TV license afterwards. How I watched this was Disney Plus. I would rather give money to a mouse than a corrupt company that's been dead in the water since the 70s.